Hello, everyone. Hello, morning. Thank you for coming to my session. My name is Evelyn. Oh, I just want to get started because it's 9:54, so we can get started now. One more people. So we start again. My name is Evelyn. I'm an educational technology and digital content specialist at the TLX. I'm here today to present and sharing practical approaches for supporting responsible AI use in education through human judgment, thoughtful design, and intentional decision making. And don't worry about the slide here. At the end, I will give you a QR code so you can download the slide afterward. Okay. Before I start, I already introduced. Before I start, I want to introduce someone for today.
Hello, everyone. I'm Evelyn, speaking from 2022. At this point, when many people talked about AI, they were usually thinking about automation, robots, or technology replacing certain types of work. I wasn't thinking about AI participating in teaching, learning, writing, or human interaction in the ways we see today. I still believed meaningful learning depended mostly on human thinking, reflection, and interaction. So now I'm curious, how are educators dealing with AI in 2026?
So for those who just came in, I just want to introduce myself again. My name is Evelyn Chen. I'm from the TLX. So what I just showed is a video, right? So today, AI can generate explanations, summarize information, intimating understanding, right? And even something like this too. And do you know why I put October 2022 for the year?
That's when you were most impacted.
Yes, because ChatGPT is actually introduced to the public, releasing in November 2022. So that is right before that. That is how we were thinking about AI at that moment. So what is the challenge in higher education? No longer simply whether AI can complete a task, or like the challenge in knowing what part of learning should remain deeply human. And one thing we all know, AI literacy, the term that you have been hearing a lot, we're not talking about tools. We're talking about pedagogical judgment. And this work, Remain AI Literacy, is a question of pedagogical judgment, particularly around when not to use AI. Throughout this session, we will be exploring how practical application, human judgment, and responsible use are connected. So the challenge of AI integration in higher education, we often just frame that as a adoption, right? And faculty receive like guidance of how to use AI or which tool to try. But there is often much less guidance on when AI should be avoided, limited, or carefully structured. That creates a challenge for aligning AI use with learning scores. It can also leave students unsure about what is appropriate, what is ethical, and what actually support learning. So I have been using this graph in multiple conferences already. This shows the tension visible in a broader public attitude towards AI. Around the world, people are responding to AI in very different ways. Some countries show higher level of excitement, while others show much greater concern. For example, in Canada, you can see that we're actually really concerned. We're not too excited about it, actually. And then the other country that you can see, like India, they are kind of like, they're exciting, they're concerned. But like for China, they are really exciting, but they don't really care about, nervous about AI. So regardless of, come. So what this telling us, AI is not simply a technology issue. It's actually people respond, shape the context, experience, trust, policy, and culture. And other than concern about this, about academic integrity, misinformation, privacy, or impact on learning. And many are experiencing both at the same time. So another data that if you're going to different AI conferences, this data have been referring a lot, multiple times for me too. So the simple question here, we're not increasing AI use. The question is, how do we support intentional, responsible use in a way that still prioritizes our learning? So to understand the challenge better, this is the data that help us to understand how the students think. So this data is coming from KPMG 2025. So you can see that the number from 2023, 2024 now is 73%. But now it's 2026. I bet the next year that will be 100. But the one simple thing that I want to mention is every conferences that I go to, or even student reflection that we have got in George Brown, student is asking for guidance that align with the survey too. And also I want to share this. I was last month I was at the Stelly conferences with the scholarship of teaching and learning conferences. This is how the educator respond to my question. I'm asking them what aspect of learning should remain deeply human in AI support education. So during that session, this is the question that I asked. So looking at the word cloud, you can see that those are the big words that people have been entered multiple times, which is like critical thinking, reflection, creativity, judgment, relationship, mental support, mental health support, and social support. So what stood out to me was the people did not immediately talk about technology. They did not focus on prompts, tools, or software. Instead, they focused on human aspect of learning. And they focus on the thing that help learner make meaningful, develop judgment, build relationship, and grow as people. And I think that is very important. So instead of what we're asking, what can AI do? As an educator, we should ask a different question. What should remain deeply human? That question become a turning point for me. If those things we value most in learning, then the next question, how do we design about AI in a ways that protect and support those outcomes? So the real challenge that repeating that we know that not the access of AI, not the tool itself, is what students asking for, unexpected, unclear expectation. And in practice, in George Brown, we have been demonstrated like a scalable into 2 live courses, 4 different sessions, about 200 samples that we have been testing on. We doing low-lift approach to ethical AI integration. So one of the results that we got from the student that I've highlighted in one of my conferences, this student is called Viraj, and he was actually in this room presenting with us last time. And this is the thing that he highlighted. In related to student reflection, many students described using AI not because they were trying to avoid learning, but because they actually felt uncertain, overwhelmed, or unsure what was acceptable. That actually echo back to the survey that we have, right? Students actually, they want guidance. So the shift of what people were doing before, like we want to control people using AI, right? In the beginning of the AI world. But now, educators should be focusing on one thing, designing for trust, clarity, and learning. That was the key thing that we should do for the student now. So I'm going to show you soon how to do it. So one more thing before we get into the framework is interactive design of using AI. I'm not talking about tech activities here. I'm talking about designing how students engage with AI in tasks, structuring reflection, decision making, creating guides, interaction, not open-ended question, designing conditions where students still need to think, reflect, and make meaningful for themselves. And the AI literacy, that term comes again. You heard it every day, every people mentioning this. Remember, AI literacy is not talking about how to use AI tool. It is focusing on the pedagogical judgment. So one of the ethical AI that we need to know, or the student need to learn, is when AI can replace learning. This is the thing they need to learn, like when it replaces thinking, when access is uneven, when it's bypass key learning process, when context or privacy matters. And one thing I wrote down here, it was saying that the issue is not whether AI produced the answer. This is not the problem. The problem is whether when they're using AI, they still engaging in the learning process. That is the important thing what educators need to think about and work on it. So this is the really easy concept. We all know that. We always hear that too, right? Acceptable, the student knew that too. Planning, outlining, drafting, we can use AI. But when I generating essay, final output, we shouldn't be using it. But what is the thing in between? That was a really big gap right now in there, and that is missing in many curriculum or course design. So this is where we have to fill that up. And you will be kind of getting some idea today that you can take away and use it. So, good. So now we have talked about like learning, student experience, uncertainty, and human judgment. But that raises a really important question. How do educators actually make decisions about AI use? That is the main point for today. So how do we move forward simply allowing or prohibiting using AI, right? How do we design when AI is supporting learning, when it creates, and what expectation we should communicate to the student? So this is the framework that I learned from Dr. Lydia Chow from University of Toronto. So actually she creating this one is for develop AI policy builder. But I borrowing the same process to help creating clear AI guidance for your student. So rather than starting with technology, she is telling us that we should start with learning. And that's why I want to briefly walk through you this framework, and then we will be showing you some H5P activities so you can think that in practice. So one thing remember, the key thing is instead of asking which AI should be used, we should be changing our mindset. That is really important. What are students supposed to learn when you are teaching it? So the first thing Lydia Chow was telling us that, Dr. Lydia Chow telling us that, identify the learning objective first. So before making any decision about AI, we need to clear about what students are actually expecting to develop. So are the students learning thinking critically, create, collaborate, conduct a research, or they have to reflect? Because different learning scores may require different approaches to AI. If we don't start with the learning objective, it is very easy to make AI decisions just based on technology rather than the learning. So once we identify the learning score, we can consider the next step. What is the impact? How AI will be impacting the learning? How does AI affect the learning process? So in some situation, AI may support learning. In the other, it may partially support learning. And in some cases, it may interfere with the very skills we are trying to develop. So for example, if students are learning brainstorming technique, AI may be helpful. If students are learning to construct an original argument, AI needs to be used much more carefully. This is where we begin moving from technology decision to pedagogical decision. If AI is appropriate, the next question becomes what role it should play. So we have to determine what AI role is. So the framework encourages us to think about when we're using AI, it can play different role each time. For example, you can ask AI to be a tutor, to be a coach, to be a research assistant for you, a creative collaborator. And the important point that AI does not need to play the same role. Different learning score may require different level of AI involvement. So thinking about AI as a role rather than simply a tool helps educator to make intentional choice. So the final question that we are asking, when should we use the AI? Like, should the student be independently and then use AI later? Should AI support them throughout their activity? Or should AI be used only after core learning has already occurred? The timing decision can have a significant impact on learning outcome. Sometimes the important question isn't whether AI is allowed. It is when AI enters the process. So what I like about this framework is it shifts the conversation, can my student use AI? No. You are thinking about how can we design learning intentionally. So now I'm going into so we learned about the framework already. You quickly learn about that first step, right? But how can we apply that into real? So you are going to see it in a minute. So what role should AI play in the assignment? So let me start. So there is a scenario. The text is a little bit small. Let me read it to you. So as an educator, we need to make thoughtful decisions about how AI can support learning while maintaining the integrity of purpose of our assessment. In this activity, you will review a common assessment and consider what students are expected to learn, how AI may support or interfere with the learning, what role AI should play, and how expectation can be communicated to the student. And there's no right or wrong answer here. So I'm using group project here. So that is real common that we ask students to in a group and work on some activity, right? So first thing what we are going to do. So when we're putting students in a group, they can be doing collaboration, critical thinking, and communication. In this case, I want to click on collaboration. I want them to learn collaboration when they're working in a group project. So after that, you're thinking about how may AI affect this learning outcome. I want them to be collaborate, right? So should that be mostly support the learning, makes impact, or may interfere? So each one gives you a little bit different answers. When you get the link, you can play around and see the answer too. So now, but I have set it up to click on the next one as mostly learning support. So you believe AI can support collaboration. So what role should AI play in here? So maybe helping them to brainstorm, project assistant, communication support. Remember, we are choosing them for the collaboration. And then we are, in the beginning, we were mostly learning support. So that should be project assistant throughout the assignment. So once you choose that, you know that project assistant actually helping them to organize timeline and meeting notes, helping them to do all this thing. So this is something that you can use afterward. So this is the guidance that you can think about to put into your courses and help the student to learn. So student may use AI assist with project management tasks such as developing timeline, organizing tasks, creating meeting notes, and documenting action item. And there's an example of the text that you can use it right away, put it in your assignment. And then you can ask them for reflection. This is kind of the sample of the reflection question. So this is one of the example. I do have more example of different situation that you can see from the resources page, and I encourage you to download that after the presentation today. So we kind of like done with the presentation in practice. So what we have done in George Brown. So we have creating AI guidance from that process, from that framework. This one is really just a generic one that we kind of encourage faculty to take it and use it, but we encourage them to create their own, because this one is really generic. And remember I was saying the gap between this is one of the example will help your student to filling up that gap. So you know they know the expectation, they know what shouldn't be doing, and then you will telling them exactly what you want them to use. And one thing that what we are telling them, reflection. We're asking them to do reflection, right? From the reflection, you are going to get some answer from the student, like which AI they're using, how they're using it, are they really using it? So you can kind of like align that with your courses. And then the next term, you can actually update your AI guidance too, according to how they answer. So this is one of the slides that we have from the student reflection assignment. Actually, we have 4 different frames that we have, but I organized it into one slide only. But you can see the detail later on the resources page too. So some students describe AI used selectively for brainstorm. Are you putting up your hand or? Oh no. Oh, okay. I thought you would have a question. Okay, sorry. Some students describing using AI selectively for brainstorming, clarification, or organizing ideas. So which is the first one? And the second one, like others intentionally resist AI because they were saying that they want authentic originality and ownership. Then the last box. At the same time, many students expressed uncertainty about what was accepted and wanted clear guidance. And students were not simply asking, can I use it or not? They actually already negotiating learning, authorship, and responsibly. So one key thing I want you to take away today is start small. You don't have to revamp your whole courses. You can just pick one score to set up in your course, make one small changes, really just adding one assignment to start to see what the result is, and then try to update that next year, in next term. And the key takeaway for today, AI literacy is simply not about the tools. It is about pedagogical judgment. It is about deciding when AI is supporting learning and when it may begin replacing important learning process. Second, the issue is no longer simply what AI can do. The issue is whether students are still engaging meaningful in learning. Thinking, reflection, interpretation, and meaning making still matter. Last but not least is design matters because it shapes how students engage with AI. The choice of educator may influence whether AI becomes a shortcut. I know some of you, maybe the curriculum is already set. You may not be changing much, but when you're teaching it, the assignment, you can still do things small to help them. So one important thing that we got from the student, this is the key thing that we got. The most significant outcome was not increasing AI use, but increased student reflection about learning, authorship, and decision making. And what I've been showing today, actually from practice, which is the course that we have in George Brown, and also I have a book wrote in AI in education. You can actually, it's a free practice book, open education book. So you can use the information there, or you can see where I'm coming from, the evidence. And there's a lot of different resources that you can download and use it, such as like AI tool evaluation. How can you evaluate the AI tool? You can use it with your student. And last but not least, this is the slide that you guys really want. It's the QR code. Please take a picture of it. You will be getting a copy of the slide today, and then the framework hangout, and also the tools and template that you can use it in your own course. And then you can also read the book too.
I think
Yeah.
I quite like this presentation because AI is not going away. Just like when I was growing up and we had introduced the calculator, our parents were averse. Use your brain and put on the calculator. And some of us are thinking that the use of AI, students are actually cheating and we present it in a negative way. So students become, when you're prevented from doing something, you're more attracted to it. And so the students go there because I think what has come out for me is how to guide them in the ethical use of of AI, and that is where we are going to play a big role. One very important thing that I think I heard from Evelyn is that our course outlines are already set. And that's one thing we'll always say. The course line make already, we can't do nothing. Yes, we can do something about it. It is how we integrate and are willing to integrate and guide the students in ethical use of AI. And we ourselves demonstrate for them the same ethical principles involved in the use of AI. I found this session pretty interesting. Thank you, Evelyn.
Thank you. I'm sorry. The press book, they were saying that too much traffic right now. Keep the link. Take a picture now, and then you can access the link later. I promise it will be working afterward. I go back to this slide first. Oh, I saw hands. Let me come. This is my personal website, and there is a lot of different press book. Yeah, thank you. Thanks a lot. Thanks. Thank you.